Hey friends, it's Julie with PhotoFabPaperFlowers. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. We'll get started in just a moment. So hi everyone. We'll get started shortly. Okay, just pulling up your comments. Oops, now my sound's on, sorry. It's like I'm out of practice. Hi there. Welcome in. Hi there. Hi, Tanya. How are you? Good evening, friends. Welcome in. Feels like forever. Hi, Maria. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, friends. How is everyone? So today is what? Wednesday. Oh my gosh, my days are all mixed up. Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. I think Christy uses either the Barely Art or Elmer's. I think she has used previously. I don't know how quickly Elmer's dries. Barely Arts is pretty fast. Hey, Jeanette. Trying to think for kids. It would have to be... It's a good question. I mean, I can ask Christy Philhard, see if she joins. Hey, Vanessa, welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. So we'll give it just a moment yet. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for adjusting with the schedule change. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be using the Elizabeth mini flower and the Apache Dahlia mini flower to create a super pretty flower, which you might have saw my post to remind you about tonight's tutorial. So she's not hard. You can ink. You don't have to ink. So it's completely up to you. So we're going to ink a little. It's not a lot of inking. And again, it's a quick, simple flower, and she is super beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This video will be saved here on Facebook for 30 days, and I'm downloading them and getting them up to YouTube. So I'm hopefully get the more recent ones up there first. So again, we're making an approximately 4-inch flower. We're going to stem our flower tonight just because of the way I created the center. And I'm using a combination of two templates. And that is the Elizabeth mini flower and the Apache Dahlia mini flower. So for the Elizabeth mini flower, for the petal, you're going to cut 2 of them at 4 inches wide by 3.8 inches high. So if you just type in the width, the height automatically adjusts. And then you just need one at 3.75 inches wide by 3.57. Now for the center, it comes with the Elizabeth mini flower. You will have to unlock the sizes, and you're gonna type in the width of 5 inches and the height of 1.25. And then we're combining another template for this flower. We're gonna use the Apache Dahlia. And petal number 2, we're gonna put this in as green. And you're gonna cut one at 3.25 inches wide. Hey, Bally, welcome in. Hola, friends. And then petal 1 of the Apache Dahlia mini flower, you're going to cut 4 of them at 2.5 inches wide. Okay. So again, not a super hard flower. She's super pretty. Again, if you saw my sneak peek to remind you of our tutorial tonight. All right, so I'm going to let that there for a moment, just in case you need to get a photo of it. So happy Wednesday, everyone. It's Julie with PhotoFabPaperFlowers. I'm back. I was at a craft retreat last week, for most of the week. I did get 5 templates designed, so hopefully I can get one of them out by Friday. We will do our best. I'm not quite, I can, but we'll see what we can get done. All right, and just remember everything, all the flower templates are 50% off in my Etsy shop through the end of the month of April 2025 to celebrate my birthday month, which is on Easter this year. Christy, Tanya has a question for you regarding some kits for kids to assemble the flowers. What glue would you recommend? Because I know you do a lot of classes. I wasn't sure if Elmer's would work, or if you prefer Barely Arts, or if you have a recommendation for Tanya. Thank you. All right, friends, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my flower shaping mat and my embossing stylus. This one is from Dollar Tree. So we are going to take our petals. And again, there's 2 of them at 4 inches wide. This is the Elizabeth. Excuse me. And we're going to just draw some lines, some veining on our petals for texture. Okay, so I'm just going to go around. I'm literally just drawing vertical lines. I'm pressing pretty hard. And you can see I just go back and forth. Again, we want to have our flower a little bit of texture. I was looking at another flower for inspiration, so this is how I figured out what I was going to make tonight. So you can see that veining on our petals. So we're just going to do that to all 3. Hey, Linda. Hey, Renee. Welcome in. Hello, friends. Okay. We're just drawing some vertical lines back and forth. Using our embossing stylus, I'm using the larger end. Okay. Ooh. All right, so I have a new iPhone. It looks like I can see it switching closer and away. That's crazy. And then we're going to the smaller petal. So it's just 3 petals using the Elizabeth mini flowers. Keep it simple, right? Back and forth just to create some texture on our petals. Okay, now we're going to optionally ink. You know, I cannot not ink anymore. So I appreciate you all hanging in there as we ink a little bit. It's not a lot of inking. So I'm just going to put a piece of copy paper down. And I am going to, now I used a blush color. This is by Recollections from Michaels. So I'm going to use a little bit of picked raspberry. Why does it keep jumping? And crackling campfire. All right. So it doesn't matter which one you start with. I started with a little bit of picked raspberry. With my finger dabber, you can see I've been using this. I use this on my tulips. And I'm just going to lightly, from the center, brush out a little bit. Just to give it a little bit more color towards the center. So from your base of your petal out. And it's going to highlight some of the textures here. So I'm not brushing really hard. I just want to highlight it. Flip it over and do exactly the same thing. Again, mostly from the base of the petal out. Okay. So that'll be step one. We're going to use a little bit of the pink. Exactly. It's not a bad addiction to have, right? Inking. So we're just going to lightly brush. And again, you don't have to ink. You can use any color. Per se, this flower doesn't have to be these colors. I just kind of made it up. I did it close to what the flower I was looking at, but it's not exact. So a light hand. I'm not pressing really hard. I just wanted to highlight the embossed lines, and mostly coming from the base of the petal. I'm not going around the edges. If it hits the edge, that's okay. So that's the back, and that's the front. Okay, and again, starting from the base. Now this will be the very center. This is our smallest petal at 3.75 inches. I feel out of practice teaching. It's been a week. Okay. And then we're going to brush out lightly. Okay. Okay, so step one, I used one of my favorites is picked raspberry. Then we're going to come back in. This is the color I like to use for my marigolds, crackling campfire. It's a pretty orange, so it's my logo colors, pink and orange. So I'm going to, again, just go over it lightly, just to give it a different, like, two colors. So you should see some pink and orange. Now I'm going to add orange in the center. Okay, flip it over and add a little bit of orange. Again, very light hand when you're brushing it on from the base out. Again, whatever colors you use will depend on your flower. And then I'm going to go a little bit, not as heavy in the center. Okay, now we're going to do exactly that same thing. brush from the base out. Blend it in the center. Flip it over and do the exact same thing. So from the base of the petal, very light hand, brush out over your pink. Just give it a two-tone color effect. Now this one, we're going to assemble under, so I'm going to go a little bit heavier here. It really doesn't matter. And then our smallest petal at 3.75, again, starting at the base, you're just going to brush out a little bit. Yes, it does look like a hibiscus. And then circular motion. And then again, light hand starting at the base, brush out. And then a little bit of orange on the back as well. It's hard not to do a heavy hand. There's our 3 petals. Now, for our center, so this is the Elizabeth center. Again, this one is 5 inches wide by 1.25. So if you just joined a little late, don't worry, I showed all the sizes. And we're using 2 different templates tonight. So I'm going to use the crackling campfire and I'm going to brush it on. And I'm going pretty heavy to cover up the yellow. But again, if you didn't want to ink, you don't have to. When I do my cutting, I am using 65-pound cardstock and I use the Cricut Premium Fine Cut blade. So long as you have a fine cut blade, you'll be good. Flip it over, and now again, you're going to add your orange, the crackling campfire. I'm brushing it on the tips, like the seed part of the center. Hi, Christy. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. April 16th, day after tax day. 2025. So if you're, this will be uploaded to YouTube eventually. So if you're watching there, thank you for stopping by, liking and subscribing. Okay, so I added some orange. Now I'm going to come back with just a little bit of hint and pink because we did the color combination. Again, use what colors you have or no ink at all. I'm just going to brush a little bit of the pink, excuse me, over the orange. Oops, I lost a petal. And then for our center, we're just going to take our slotted quilling tool. You're going to thread one end, hardest part, okay? Roll it towards you a few times. Add some glue and continue rolling towards you. Secure the end with hot glue. Ooh. There we go. Now, while it's still on the slotted quilling tool, I'm going to add a little touch of brown. So you can use walnut stain or ground espresso, whichever, a darker brown. This is the very center. Just for a little bit of color. Just on the tips. And then you can remove it from the slotted quilling tool and set it to the side. Okay. Now for my center, or my sepal, I used Apache Dahlia Petal 2 at 3.25 inches. So I did brush on one side some ground espresso, but again, you can use the walnut stain. I use them interchangeably. One's a little bit darker, of course. Okay, so I'm just going to use my larger ink pad, and I'm just on the opposite side. I did this while it was on the mat. I brushed on, so we're just going to brush some more on. I like a little bit of brown on my green sepals. Again, once you become an inker, it's hard not to ink everything. So just to make it a little bit dirty, like she was hanging out in the dirt. So I use ground espresso. But again, I flip-flop back and forth which one. I know Cheeto fingers are back. For my sample, I did have gloves on. But they're coming back. Luckily, I saw Miss Patty yesterday. Alright, so we did our very center. We have our 3 petals of Elizabeth. The center was Elizabeth. This is the Apache Dahlia Petal 2. And now we have 4 Apache Dahlia Petal 1s at 2.5 inches. Okay, so for this, we're covering most of the petal. And the reason why I did this, again, I was looking at a flower for inspiration. I take screenshots of them when I see them. And the very tip of the petals were yellow. Just the very tip. So I decided to cut mine with yellow instead of doing an orange center with a little bit of yellow ink because I didn't think it would show up. So I'm going with a much heavier hand for these. Almost to the tip. If I cover the tip, I don't worry about it. So it's going to give it a nice colorful center with the yellow and the orange. Okay, flip it over and do exactly the same thing. And we're going to do that to all 4 of them. So depending on your project, the time of year, you can use any colors, ink or not ink. Totally up to you. That's what's so much fun about making paper flowers. Okay, and then all I did is I brushed some more. I just held it very vertical, or just vertical, and I brushed it on the very tips. These I had to. And I flip it over and I just make sure the tips have it again. Okay, so we're going to repeat that process with our next 3 petals. Circular motion, and then I just blend out from the center. Go as far to the tip that you can. I don't always go. Flip it over and do exactly the same thing. Circular motion, and then I just brush out. Okay. And then again, we just brush it on the tips. Yeah, I really look like I have Cheeto fingers now. Makes me hungry. I'm hungry. I hope you're all having a great week so far, staying safe, healthy, and being creative. Did you miss me last week? Who else made the large bunnies? I saw some of them in the makers group. And the candies. I love seeing all your creations. Makes my heart super happy. So thank you. I'm glad I can inspire you. So we're just working our way around. And we're going to flip it over and add a little bit more orange. And we're super thankful our friend and camp director, Isaac Flores the Explorers, is now in rehabilitation after his surgery. So we're super happy. You got this, Isaac. And B, we're thinking of you all. So we're going to again brush some on the tips. So we will be back for another tutorial on Friday. It's Good Friday. I do work. For Crafting Happy Hour. So hopefully you can join me. And then our last petal, again, circular motion. Oh, thanks, Christy. I was in your state. It was right. Oh my gosh, friends. We had a terrible wind storm blow through 62-mile-per-hour winds. I thought the trees were going to snap around here, and a lot of them did. It was insane yesterday. And then it got really cold. And it's still cold today and windy. Mother Nature's very confused in springtime. And I heard that some of them had snow on Saturday when I was in Maryland. And I'm brushing on the tips. So be careful with this crazy spring weather. Oh, Tanya, I know. Tanya stated V brought her to tears when she posted when he was moving to rehab. I did too, and I sent her a text. And it was all happy tears as well. So we are thinking of you, friend. All right, so let's work on our center here. So for one of the centers, we're going to use our precision scissors, and you can see the larger gap between each set of 2 petals. You're just going to cut a slight little cut towards the center. I hover towards the left side of the opening, or I hug the left side of the opening. Excuse me, and this just makes the center smaller. So you should see those cuts there. They're just small. And then we're going to take our dowel rod chart here, and we're going to use the Julie. It's the one that comes in my 12-inch or 6-inch dowel rod set that is not color-coded. And I'm going to roll the petals up. So pinch around it. Even the skinny ones, I kind of go more at an angle just to have a curl to them. Okay. The larger ones, I just go in the center. I know it does look like flames. Okay, so we're just rolling this one up. This only one you cut in between each group of 2 petals towards the center. It's going to keep our center nice and tight. Okay. So we're just going to place those two together so we don't forget. And then we're going to do exactly that same thing. So I like to have the straight or flat edge on the right side because I'm right-handed. So again, you're just going to roll them up. I do one petal at a time because these are delicate. Hey Nathan, welcome in. Thank you for doing an Isaac for us. We are just rolling each of the Apache Dahlia petal number 1. This is going to be our the center, going around our rolled center. Happy Wednesday, friends! Okay, and again, we're just going to roll with the Julie. Did everybody craft this past weekend? Did you get a lot done? Did you enjoy all my stories? I had a lot of that coffee tequila. It was so good. Over the rocks. Made me very creative. So if, if you enjoy adult beverage, I like to call them a creator's juice. And I got 5 templates designed, so be on the lookout for some new templates. Okay, we're just curling them all up. And again, I like to keep the flat side on the right side. Just makes it easier. Just curl around that dowel rod. So for the skinny ones, again, I go at an angle and just curl the tip around. Oh, Linda, that is beautiful weather. Wish I was there. 71 and no humidity. Yeah, our humidity shot up there for like 2 days. And then the windstorm came through. Okay, we're just curling around the petals. And then for our sepal, actually we're going to use the Julie as well. So we just keep it super simple, pinch up and roll. Okay, so for each petal, place the dowel rod down, pinch it up with your thumb, let go and roll it between your fingers. Okay, place the dowel rod down, pinch it up with your thumb, and roll. It's the pinch and roll technique. Oh, are you outside? Okay, we're pinching and rolling. So thank you for joining. Pinch up and roll. Thank you for all your tool orders this week. I do have one for Irene that will be shipped on Friday since I have to go to the office tomorrow. Otherwise, everything else has been shipped out. So thank you, fabulous friends. And then we just have our 3 petals. Oh, she's so pretty. I inked a little bit heavier during this one. We're going to take the 2 larger ones. I keep them stacked. We roll only the same size. We're going to use our red 5/16. Pinch up and roll. Oh my God. Pinch up, let go, and roll. '86 in Texas, and people are sweaty. Oh my God. Yuck. Place your, use your red dowel rod, the 5/16. Okay, place it down the middle of your petal, pinch it up with your thumb, and roll. And the Florida state bird is most mosquitoes. Do you have the love bugs yet? I remember that in the springtime when I was in Florida, they were crazy. Especially by the pool. I didn't like it. Are you at another convention? All right, so we have our 3 petals. We're going to get our piece of 18 gauge floral stem wire. So I cut mine in half just so I don't poke you in the eye here. We're going to use our needle nose pliers. You're going to place that 18 gauge floral stem wire in between the needle nose pliers. You're going to bend it around, and if it slips off, it's okay. Okay, so now you have a shepherd's hook. You're going to place it back in between the needle nose pliers. Give her a squeeze to close that loop, straighten it out a little, and now you have a closed loop, okay? Place it back in between your needle nose pliers and bend it 90 degrees like a corner. And yes, I have Cheeto fingers from the ink. Okay. Now we're going to use our piercing scoring tool. They do come in a set from Dollar Tree. So I use the thicker one. And you're going to poke in the center here. Just pierce it in the center. So you're just going to take one. Hold on one second. Somebody's knocking. I'm doing a tutorial. I can't talk. Okay, so now you're going to just roll in the center. I'm sorry, that's not the one we were supposed to poke through. Hold on. Oh my God, we weren't supposed to poke in that one. It's all okay. We're going to place our rolled center in here. Oh my God, so you do need to roll. Don't poke in that one. Add some glue and come around the edge. Place it in the center. And you're going to fold up and around. All right, now we're going to take one. Oh my goodness. Now you can pierce it in the center. We're going to roll the center with our metal ball stylus. You're going to thread it onto your 18 gauge floral stem wire. On the underside of the loop, you're going to add some hot glue. And you're going to pull it through. Okay. Does look like flames on there. I know, exactly, Nathan, my mother. Oh, you're driving to Tina's. We're going to add some glue on the bottom and a little bit around the edge. Like, there's a reason why the door is locked. Place it in the center and then just press along the bottom to make sure it attaches. Is it the heat miser? It's like his hair. I know, it was the knocker's fault. How dare they interrupt my tutorial. It doesn't matter who it is, I always get interrupted. What time of day, it doesn't matter. We're going to pierce our hole in the center. Roll around. thread it on, and now we're going to add glue to the bottom. So just hold your glue gun and twirl. Okay. And then thread your last one. On the underside, you're going to hold your glue gun and twirl. Oh gosh. Oh, she's a fun center. Look at her coloring. All right, now we're going to take our smallest petal, which is at 3.75 inches. You're going to pierce a hole right in the center. Poke. Go right at the base, and you can just roll around. And then we're going to add some glue. Again, hold your glue gun and twirl. We're going to thread it down, let it grab. Thank you, Christy. I know. Linda, isn't it? It's a lot of fun here. We have burpers, we have car engines, and now knockers. Yeah, I should lock the door so no one tries to steal me. Ooh, it's so pretty. All right, now for layer 2, we have 2 left. They're both 4 inches wide. We're going to see which one I did more of. We're going to flip one over, one that you did a lot more ink in the center. Press down and poke your hole with the petals rolled under. Okay, then I flip it over, roll right around the edge. But again, we're assembling it with the petals rolled under for layer 2. Okay, so when you stem, we go from smallest to largest. Now we're going to hold our glue gun and twirl. Okay, now I'm going to place these petals in between the previous layer's petals. So you can see this one went in between these two. Okay, now our last petal, it will be rolled up. Again, pierce your hole right in the center or as close. I'm not always exact, so don't worry. Thread it on. And again, on the underside of your last petal we added, hold your glue gun and just, oops, and twirl. Oh, she's so pretty. Okay, now we're going to thread all the way down and place those petals in between the previous layer's petals very quickly. Oh, she's so pretty. Okay, and now we're going to flip our sepal petals under, so they're rolled under. Pierce your hole from the top. Then you flip it over so they're showing rolled up. You roll right around where the petals meet the base. Flip it back over so they're under. Thread it on, and again we're going to add our glue. So hold your glue gun and twirl. Thread it straight down. And there you have a beautiful flower. Super easy, not hard. We inked, but again, you don't have to ink if you don't want to. So you could just do different colors, but I definitely think the center is beautiful inked for sure. And we add a little bit of texture. We use our Embossing Stylus. She'll be super pretty for your spring arrangements, but again, any color you want to use is fine. And I'll give you a sneak peek of the tulip because that would look super pretty with the tulip. So if you caught my stories, you will see that I do have a tulip bundle coming out. I'm working hard. I have all the photos are taken. I just have to write the instruction documents and do the YouTube video. So that's my goal, is to get that one done because it is spring in there. So thanks everyone for joining. Again, we use 2 different templates to create this. I like to do that if you're new around here. You'll see me do that every now and then after we work with some templates for a while. But again, she's beautiful. Look at her from the side. Look at your inking down in the center. Look at, I couldn't get a photo outside because it was so windy. I couldn't put it on our magnolia tree. But she is gorgeous and would be super pretty in any arrangement. And she's a little bit larger, so if you want to resize her, once you have it set up in your project, in your machine's design space, just group all of them together and drag it in from the corners. Always from the corner to keep your petals proportional. Oh, yeah, the tulips are so pretty. So, yeah, I was so excited and very proud that I finally figured it out after 2 years. And so you'll get a tulip bundle with the regular tulip and the fringe tulip. So I know. Life's really crazy right now. I'm trying to keep it together, and it's really hard. But thanks so much for joining tonight. I hope I can inspire you to make this gorgeous flower, and I can't wait to see yours and what color combinations you use. As we know, I'm a warm girl. I love the pinks and the oranges together, so I do gravitate towards that. But you can, again, do this in any color. It would be simply gorgeous. In a bridal bouquet, this would be beautiful in your arrangements. Even if you use the white paper and, I mean, your center could be almost any color, But again, thank you so much for watching. Again, we made this gorgeous flower. And we stemmed her. She definitely, to make her, it's easier to keep it stemmed, but you can always cut off the wire just because of how I created it from the center out easily. Large Marge. But yes, thank you so much. We used the Elizabeth mini flower and the Apache Dahlia to create this beautiful flower. Again, these will all eventually be uploaded to YouTube. So if you're watching it there, thank you for stopping by. And thank you to all who are here live or watching a replay. Have a great rest of your week. We will be back on Friday, the 18th. So we only have a day in between. I'm so messed up with my days this week. For another tutorial, and I'll do my best to get the tulip, but that one might have to wait till next week. So thank you again. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you all for hanging out. So be safe, be healthy, and be creative this week, and we will talk at the end of the week. Bye, friends.